Okay, assignment 2. Assignment 2 will start on Wednesday and will end November 4, and November 5th we will do a feedback session similar to the one we did for assignment 1. So you need to prepare slides, etc., etc. Same modality that you had. Of course, there are 2 weeks of labs where you are recommended to work with the teacher, to talk with the teacher, to share ideas, etc., to show intermediate results, as you did for the interview. Let me say that assignment 1 is typically the most difficult for you because you don't have to start doing something, but you have to start asking something to people in the world. That adds difficulties, also time-related difficulties before doing here. Here is something you have to do on your own with a piece of paper in group, so that's typically more manageable. And also the other assignments are typically more manageable than assignment 1. Having said that, assignment 2 will ask 3. The first thing that it will ask you is to define 3 tasks. So starting from the solution you created at the end of assignment 1, starting from the value proposition of your project, you should create 3 tasks: a simple task, a moderate task, and a complex task, as we did in class last week and the week before when we talked about the theory about that. And remember that a task describes what a user is trying to achieve and not how the task is done in a user interface that is a system feature. First, define 3 tasks: simple, complex, and moderate. Moderate and complex. Second, create 1 storyboard. One storyboard. And the storyboard, as we did last week, should have all the actors, the context, the problems, the happy ending in the end, exactly what we did last week during the exercise. But the storyboard must represent at least 2 of your tasks. 3 tasks, at least 2 of them should be in the storyboard. You can have also 3 of them in the storyboard, it's fine. You cannot have 1 of them because 1 is lesser than 2. And the storyboard must be a traditional one. So comic strip, 4 to 8 panels, and fit on a A4 piece of paper. If needed, more panels or more piece of paper, we can discuss. And then here there's some details on use a pen that is thick, etc. 3 tasks, 1 storyboard. After you do the 3 tasks and this storyboard, you have to make 2 paper prototypes on those 3 tasks and according to that storyboard. Okay? So what should be in the paper prototype? Your 3 tasks. That's it. Only the features that are needed to complete the 3 tasks, and optionally to integrate them in some way together. So if there is like a task, the simple task that will not, immediately proceed in the moderate on the complex task, you maybe need a screen. That's something you can add to link the task together, but the features are the one needed by the 3 tasks. So why 2 paper prototypes? Because they should be different. Again, prototyping is about having options and creating design alternatives, so we force you to have 2 options at least. And how you define these options? You have to, step 1 here, brainstorm different ways to realize your prototype, your solutions. So you add the solutions, you add the value proposition, you have 3 tasks, you have a storyboard, how we can do this in 2 different ways. For instance, we can do it with a speech user interface or partially speech user interface. We can do it in augmented reality. We do it in virtual reality. We can do it with a touch-based interaction. We can do it with a tablet, a smartwatch, a smartphone, a desktop computer, etc., etc. So devices and way of interaction. Two of them different. And I say two different modalities. A modalities is either a way of interacting, speech, AR, VR, blah, 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 or a device type. Smartphone, smartwatch, etc. So you can have options. Choose smartphone application, one with AR and one without. Or you can have a smartphone application and touch-based, and a smartwatch application, touch-based. Two different modalities. You have to write down the modality and why you selected them for your specific domain and your specific solution. And then you have to make two paper prototypes, one for each modality you choose. And each prototype should clearly connect to your solution and value proposition, as well as the three tasks and the storyboard. So everything is connected to that. And here there is a reminder, what is a paper prototype? I just spent 1 hour talking to this, so I will skip. But they must done and drawn. So you cannot use any precise software to do it. It should be hand drawn. And in black and white. No colors. And the paper prototype should be complete enough for allowing teacher to understand the essence of your application and to guide a hypothetical new user through each of your three tasks. And here again, prototype, it can contain the entire screen and small detail unimportant, like the copyright policy page, the login, the logout, the sign in, the sign up, etc., and do not need to be included. And the interface in the prototype should be able to navigate, recover from error, and change their mind. And ideally, a developer should be able to use the prototype to create a functional app with a defined flow and a lot of freedom for colors, etc. Then for each prototype, we ask you also to make two high-level flow diagrams. What are the high-level flow diagrams? Means every page of the prototype you design, you drawn, just connect it with an arrow to say from this page we go here, and from this other page we go there, and from this third page we go there. So a diagram that show how these pages are connected between them. So you have the prototype, and then you have this diagram on the side that show how this, so a sort of a map of the prototypes, or how the pages connected to them. And then set up the prototype for the heuristic evaluation. That will be assignment 3. So be sure to have all the pieces to make the paper prototype work on paper, so that we will see in a week, assignment 3, so that the evaluator can use fully the entire paper prototype. Deliverables, as last week, a slide, a set of slides in PDF, not PowerPoint, right? And also the paper prototype, so the digital version of the paper prototype could be photos, could be scans, etc. in 2 PDF files, one for the first paper prototype and one for the second, and then the slides should contain all the things you did, including the high-level flow of the screen of the paper prototypes, not the paper prototypes inside the slides, because we have these other 2 PDF documents. And as always, the grading criteria at the end that will be used for evaluating this assignment for the exam. Paper prototypes must be hand drawn. Paper prototype, as the name says, should be done on paper. But since we are in the 21st century and many of you have tablets, it's fine if you hand draw them on a tablet. Okay? But for assignment 3, they must be on paper. So if you do them on a tablet, then you have to print them and have them on paper for the heuristic evaluation, because otherwise you cannot simulate the change of pages on a tablet without having like animation, but that's too complex for a low fidelity prototype. Okay, so you can start drawing on a paper, you can start drawing on a tablet, But in the end, on November 4, they should be all on a piece of paper, on various pieces of paper. Okay? Any questions? Yes.
On the second, I think, point, the one with
The storyboard, no.
the paper prototype, it says that it should be detailed enough to that phrase.
Here?
To guide an hypothetical new user to act. So we have to make like a paper tutorial.
No. To guide means that is not, as I was saying before, is if the simple task ends and then to start the second task you have, or the third one, the complex or the moderate, you need a page that is not included in any task. You have to do the page. It's not at all. It's task number 1 ended. Let's throw everything away and let's start again. It's connected to guide in the sense. If I have this, can I easily move around without interruption, and it covers completely all the 3 tasks and the connection between them in that sense. Yes, it's not a tutorial. Is to guide means it works without a tutorial, and I can understand as a hypothetical user how to do the 3 tasks with that, without you telling me these 3 pages are for easy task, these other 4 pages are for the moderate. I should be able to understand by using or looking at them. Any other question? Yes?
The deadline to deliver the actual prototypes is still the 4th? Like
It's still the 4, because on the 5th, we will look at them in the feedback session. And then you will use them for the next 2 weeks for the heuristic evaluation. But then if, as happened last Wednesday, if there are changes to be done, you still have 1 week to do some changes to the paper prototype before proceeding for the heuristic evaluation. So we do the feedback so that the heuristic evaluation is not a disaster for anyone. It's not like it's not working, that's over. But there is some comments you can get and give.
On feedback session, do you use the paper prototype?
I will look at them. I will look at the PDF version. We will look at the PDF version. If you want to bring them on paper, it's fine. I'm not going, no, we don't have enough time. But let's say after, I think we have the needed expertise to look at the PDF and see if there are major problems without using them. Also help with the help of the diagram that show how the pages are linked together. Anything else? Okay, so this is assignment 2.